Okay, it's springtime, and in spring, you get lots of eggs. If you have happy chickens lay lots of eggs. During the year, you have kind of like peak production, which is spring and fall. But then during the winter, you get fewer eggs, which creates kind of a conundrum. So with peak production during spring, how do you have enough eggs during winter? Well, it's called glassing. It's kind of a form of pickling, but not really. Farm fresh eggs have a seal around these eggs that let them, I haven't washed these eggs and I could leave them out on my counter for like a month or 2 months and they're totally fine. The store bought eggs, you gotta stick in the refrigerator. That's what you gotta do. And the moment, you can't leave them out for like a couple of hours because you could make your egg go rotten and nobody wants to eat a rotten egg. But a farm fresh egg, a free range egg, not washed egg, you can just leave out for 1 or 2 months. But if you glass them, then they can last a year. Some people say up to 2 years. I've never gone that long. I usually just do it in the year between spring peak production and winter low production. So how do you do it? It's super simple. A little lime pickling solution, a glass jar, and your eggs. That's it. The quantity of it is 3 tablespoons per quart. This is a 1 gallon jar. I'm gonna use about a half a gallon of water in here. So I'm gonna make a half a gallon of solution. I'm gonna very carefully put the eggs inside of here. And then I'm going to pour the solution on top of the eggs. And that's it. It's that easy. And then you can stick them in the cabinet for a year. We'll talk about some things you need to be careful with while you're doing it. But I mean, that's it. It's that simple. So now let's get down to the how. The recipe is really easy, but there's a lot of do's and don'ts. And that's the things you have to remember. So for every quart of water, you're going to do 1 tablespoon. This is a gallon jar. So I'm using a half a gallon, which is going to be 6 tablespoons. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There's a solution. We're just gonna let that. So I do. No. Okay, as this thing's kind of getting set, let's talk about some of the do's and don'ts. Do's. Use real pickling solution. So there is lots of different pickling ones. You're going to use a pickling lime. This is, I mean, you can get this everywhere. They have their own website. You can get on Amazon. If you go to Public Square, there's a bunch of different pickling recipes on there. Definitely go. I recommend going to Public Square because it's a great America-loving website that you can get everything that you need. Pickling lime is what you're doing. Use good water. So you just need to use clean, purified water. That's it. This is well water that goes through a purifier and then goes through the RO. So this is totally super clean water. You can see that pickling solution is already kind of getting in there. Whoa. And then I'm going to pour that on top of here. Now, where you store this is really important. When I stack all of these eggs up in here, there's going to be a decent amount of weight. And even though I'm going to have water, there's enough weight where if I'm moving this around and I crack an egg inside of here, it can rot the water, right? It can get filthy because the egg, once it cracks and that yolk is getting in there, there's lots of stuff in an egg, and then it's going to be mixing with my solution. It's going to ruin my solution. So make sure that I'm being gentle with it and I store it in a place that's cool, dark, and stable. So you're not moving around during the holidays. If you're baking, lots of work. The eggs that I put in there, I'm kind of picky about. So if the egg is, like some eggs you can just brush off like that. There's a great egg to go in there. But I'm sure I have some dirty eggs in here. And I try it like this one. That's just a dirty egg. And when I have a whole bunch of clean eggs in here, here's another dirty egg. I'm just going to discriminate. I'm not going to use those eggs. I'm also going to inspect every single egg that goes in there. I have one chicken. She's super sweet, but here's one of her eggs. Here's one of her eggs. She always leaves kind of these deformed eggs. She also left a feather on here. That's cute. I want perfect eggs. I want to make sure there's no hairline cracks, and I don't want any deformities, because once I put them in the pickling solution, if this egg is cracking or is cracked when I put it in there, if the kids go outside and they're collecting them and they put it in the basket and they crack the egg when they put it in there, then I'm already like setting myself up for failure. So I'm gonna be picky about the eggs that I put in there. A lot of different ways to put the eggs in there. Some people fill the water up because they don't want to break the egg and they put it inside. The lime pickling solution will dry your hands out. So I never do that. I very carefully, and you'll see, because it takes a little bit of time, especially with my big ape hands, just put one egg in here at a time, very carefully. And then I pour the solution on top of that. That's it. Put the lid on, store it away, and I'm done. And I can come back to it in 6 months, 8 months, a year, and I have perfect eggs, scrambled eggs, hard-boiled eggs, poached. I can do anything I want with them, and they're just perfect eggs. So let's just do it. Don't store your eggs in the jar while you are waiting to fill the entire jar. What's going to happen is they're going to get moldy. The moisture is going to get trapped in the jar. It's going to smell like earthy, like dirt, but what's actually happening is they're getting moldy. And once that egg gets that mold on the outside, the egg on the inside is totally ruined. So just store them open air outside like you normally would before you eat them. And then once you have enough eggs to fill a whole entire jar, then go to your glassing. All right, get a good stir, make sure, because the pickling solution is going to settle at the bottom. Then,
That's quite good.
That's it. Now, as the pickling lime settles inside of here, you're going to see like this white powder settle on top of the eggs. Totally normal, perfectly normal. But if you see that the water inside of here starts getting like this weird yellow funk or cloud, something went wrong either with your solution, one of the eggs is cracked, and that whole entire jar is going to get busted. So instead, if you see it not this nice, clean white or kind of clear, translucent, something's wrong. This is how it should look. There's this, I think, a gap in information that used to be generational information passed on from like grandparents to their grandkids. Canning, glassing, these are all very commonplace and very normal things. If you don't know this, you can get online. There's homesteaders right now that know all these things. On the survival side, if you're a prepper and you don't know how to do these things, like, are you really though? It is that easy just to do it this way. If you missed kind of the recipe, you can just click on it. It's in the description. If you have any questions about how we do this or why we do this or when to do this, what to use, go into the comment section and we'll fill all that out. If you want to see us kind of as a prepper and prepping family and organization, how we do things, whether it's communication or canning, pickling, just hit us up. Well, you can see it starting to settle. Look, this is all the lime down here. Anyways, perfectly normal. So freaking good. This right here is going to be good for 1 to 2 years. That easy. Go store it in a cool, dark place that will not see a lot of access. Okay, be gentle.